I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Dr. Jacob for 40 plus years in the operating room and of knowing him for almost 50 years. His dedication was, I think, is secondary to none. I would be hard-pressed to find a day when I called him to see if he could help us with a particular surgical case where the answer was either no or the answer wasn't met with, yeah, sure.
One of the things that my dad has taught me is about dedication. He told me that medicine would be a very interesting and challenging career, but also a rewarding career in the sense that you can make a difference in people's lives. And that it was very important to be focused on medical school and residency training to try to get the best foundation of medical knowledge that you possibly could. And this would allow you to, it serves yourself well and serves your patients well. And I have found that to be true.
Watching my grandpa's dedication to healthcare and his desire to serve his community has played a big role in inspiring me to pursue a career in healthcare myself. He's taught me the value of lifelong learning, hard work, and the importance of making people feel valued and cared for. I've always been inspired by my grandpa immigrating to a place where he had no previous connections. I can't imagine how difficult that would be. I'm also so happy to have interests in common with my grandpa. He's taught me about medicine and painting. And the summer before I started med school, he made time to sit down with me and go through anatomy textbooks with me and teach me suturing. These moments are really special to me and I'm grateful for them. My grandpa has been a big inspiration in my life and a big part of the reason why I chose medicine.
I first met Dr. Jacob when I arrived in Winkler, which is almost 37 years ago. He had an office directly across the hallway from me. So we saw each other pretty much every day, both at the Bethel Hospital and at the clinic. And we rapidly became friends. Years ago I was playing in the international golf tournament with him. On the Saturday morning, he was going to come and pick me up at my house. We had to leave bright and early. He didn't arrive at the house at the planned time, so I then got in my car and drove to his house. And his wife answered the door and said, "No, he's at the hospital." And sure enough, there he was operating. And he said, "Yeah, you better run off and go and get the golf cart and wait for me at the bottom of the stairs." Sure enough, he'd been called earlier in the middle of the night to do a surgery, and in spite of him being committed for 3 days of golf, he squeezed that in and he proceeded to play a game of golf and switched gears and joked as per his usual. We had a fun time on the golf course, as we often did.
I still remember the first day that I met Dr. Jacob in the middle of September 1988. And I walked in, and instead of getting a orientation the way you would get nowadays, my orientation was, Dr. Jacob needs someone to help him in the OR this morning, right now. One of the things was how dedicated he was. I mean, he was the only surgeon in this community. And we could call him at any day, at any hour.
I started in the OR in 1973 as a young grad, a young married woman, just young. And Dr. Jacob intimidated me, but I soon learned if I listened to him, he was a tremendous teacher. Everything about this man impressed me. He was just really, really good to us. He treated us with utmost respect as a nurse. He never grew weary, especially Fridays. He always had one more little thing downstairs. It just took a little bit, just a little.
I'm just thankful I got to work with him all those many years, about 45 years I worked with him. I just remember him being very, very kind, soft-spoken. He was kind to everybody. And many times he didn't comment on things when the rest of us were a little, upset about different things. He just kind of smiled through it all. He always amazed me as how controlled he was. Every now and then, in a stressful situation, he would get a little snippy, but he always picked on the old nurses that he knew well. It didn't take us long to figure that out.
I first met Dr. Jacob in the summer of 1998. Our family had just emigrated from South Africa. We were in a new country and still struggling to understand the difference between Mennonite and Hutterite, and coming to terms with this strange summertime tradition of having watermelon with deep fried pastry. From the very beginning, I have been impressed with Dr. Jacob's graciousness, his kindness and compassion. And he extends himself not just to his family and friends, but to his patients as well. Even in the most stressful circumstances, he has a reassuring bedside manner. He is more like a father to a child rather than a doctor to a patient. It's not every day that one gets to associate those qualities with the word surgeon. But Dr. Jacob is truly a gentleman surgeon.
From what I could tell, being a surgeon was very demanding, and with a demanding job like that, balance was never really easy. So my dad was pretty committed to his work. But he did find time to, he enjoyed traveling and spending time with family and friends. So traveling, hunting and fishing and golfing and watching sports, especially curling. So he has an artistic side, and when we were growing up, he did a lot of oil painting, and then he changed to, he did some wood carving. So he carved some really nice pieces. He carved a polar bear and some ducks out of wood. And also he shows his artistic side with flowers.
So Dr. Jacob has had training in many different areas of surgery, more than just your general surgeon, and he has expertise in orthopedics, gynecology, plastic surgery, vascular surgery.
Dr. Jacob was a very efficient surgeon, and by that I mean he didn't make a lot of extra steps. He didn't spend time thinking about what he was doing. He was just doing it. And you could tell that by just looking at the slate. Like, it was not unusual for us to start with a C-section, go on to a colon resection, do a cholecystectomy, a couple of scopes, add in a hip, and then he would get to clinic in the afternoon.
And I distinctly remember doing 2 different Whipple's procedures with Dr. Jacob. I was told Whipple's procedures needed 12 hours of surgical time and needed multiple assistants. I think we finished in the morning.
I helped Dr. Jacob and another one of our doctors do a burr hole on, I think it was a car accident or a motorcycle accident patient who had a head injury and was getting pressure in his head. So that was quite fascinating.
So one of the things I recall very, very often, how unflappable he was in the operating room. There could be a complex fracture, or there could be a whole lot of blood. And he was just quiet and focused.
Not only is Dr. Jacob a supremely confident surgeon, but he also has a wealth of interesting stories. And sometimes the confluence of these 2 attributes were borne out during the most critical moments of surgery. I recall assisting him in a gallbladder operation once, and he was working in what is known as the triangle of death, so called because it's so easy to nick the bile duct or an artery in this area. And here was Dr. Jacob telling us about civet cats in Indonesia that ingest and poop out these beans that were later collected, roasted, and ground to produce the finest and most expensive Java coffee.
I think the things that have kept my dad motivated is he's a very driven and determined person who truly loves the field of medicine and loves learning and is a lifelong learner. So in that sense,
He, of his own initiative, would go on special courses, including courses in Switzerland to bring back techniques in plastic surgery, orthopedic surgery, that otherwise for sure would not have happened around here.
For years and years, we would have a monthly CME session. Somebody would come down from Winnipeg and teach us things about some other new aspect of medicine. This wasn't surgical continuing medical education. It was for family medicine doctors, and it was a lot of internal medicine. But, Dr. Jacob would always attend. And when there was tough questions, when the speaker asked tough questions, guess who got the right answer?
I have always been impressed with Dr. Jacob's encyclopedic knowledge of anatomy. I have described him as having a 3D brain. He sees everything in three dimensions.
He was and is really a brilliant man. And I'll tell you, recently, I walked by his office. His office is scattered with papers. He's working on all kinds of things. He's reading all kinds of things. He wasn't there at the time. I looked down, and what was it? It was the latest edition of the New England Journal of Medicine. So he's still reading, and he's still keeping up with the latest medicine, even though...
I remember doing anesthesia for an appendectomy. Before I even got the endotracheal tube in, Dr. Jacob had already quietly made his first incision. He was extremely efficient, but more incredibly, throughout the duration of that surgery, not a word was spoken. Not one. He held out his hand, and Elsie placed a scalpel in his palm. He gave a little nudge, and the retractor appeared. And so it went, like a silent Charlie Chaplin movie.
Well, we watched him. If you watched him, he did things very quickly, so you had to be really watching all the time what he wanted. And I don't know, I just learned it after a while, that what to hand him and what not, what he didn't want.
You will come to learn that Dr. Jacob has a wonderful sense of humor, even when he is not trying to be funny. Have you ever heard him say to the X-ray tech, "Shoot one," after he's reduced a fracture? Or watched him cast the scope over his shoulder, curl it, crisscross it, contort his body this way and that? Yeah, he's unique. He's fun to watch.
We waited for him in the operating room one morning. We were all set up and ready to go, and he didn't come and show up. And then it didn't take long, and we heard that he was in the ditch on the way from Winkler to Morden. And somebody had to go pick him up. And his excuse often for many things was, well, I failed kindergarten.
We didn't have disposable gowns or even water repellent gowns. They soaked everything. So after doing hips, and Dr. Jacob was a mess. This was in Morden OR. And so after a hip, he just toddled into the bathroom, and that was fine. Then we were going to have coffee. So when we came around the corner, here he was standing having a lovely conversation with Dr. Bob and Dr. Jim and Dr. Unruh in a clean scrub top and his long johns. And he was just totally oblivious to his a wardrobe. And it was just so funny. But I'm not sure what was funnier, him just having that conversation totally oblivious, or Dr. Duff buckled over in laughter in the corner, or Elsie coming around the corner and saying, "Dr. Jacob, put your pants on." It was just so hilarious.
If there was one word that I might use to describe my dad, it would be unwavering, in the sense that throughout his career, he's been committed to advancing healthcare in rural Manitoba and improving access to care for those in southern Manitoba particularly.
Developing new programs takes a champion. And Dr. Jacob was one of those champions. When there was something political to be said, he would say it. Particularly, he was concerned about getting services down into our region. Whether that was a new surgery or a new test or something, he would be quick to point out all kinds of reports, which I will not quote here because I don't know them well enough, but reports that came out every few years that showed how underserviced rural areas were. And he was the first one to stand up and say, this service needs to be here. The work he has done has left a lasting effect on our community, the medical community and the community as a whole.
Dr. Jacob, it was a thrill working with you. It was a thrill being part of your team, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing. You treated us with such respect, and I thank you for that. On a very, very personal note, Dr. Jacob, you came to our daughter's funeral. We knew how busy you were, but you came. And that meant so much to Bob and I. Happy birthday, Dr. Jacob.
And we just congratulate him on his 90th birthday and on being our colleague for all these years.
Congratulations, Jandy, Dr. Jacob. You've been a wonderful friend, mentor, father-like figure for me for all these years. I wish you all the best on your 90th.
I'm very happy for my dad reaching this milestone. He's in great shape for his age. He travels a lot and he's very active, and it is inspiring to see him enjoying life like this.
Dr. Jacob, how can we say thanks to someone who has given us such an enduring legacy? One that is characterized by an ageless devotion to medicine, an inspirational mentor and role model, and truly an icon of our times. Thank you for all that you have done, and congratulations on turning 90. Nani.
Dr. Jacob, to honor your immense dedication to your profession, I've written a short poem for you. Behind those eyes so deep and wise lie tales of nights and heavy sighs. Rising above each challenge met, Dr. Jacob will never forget. Your journey paved with sacrifice, with every call you paid a price. Yet, in your stride you never tire, working with a noble fire. In the face of despair and woe, you stand tall, making sorrows go. Thank you for being our shield in life's OR battlefield.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, Dr. Jacob. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Congratulations, Grandpa, on 90 years.